FlossTube, it's Annette from Annette Taker. I wanted to do a short video to show how I organize my floss. Years ago, when I started stitching in the 80s, of course bobbins was the only way to go. And Lord knows I spent a lot of time winding bobbins. I had at one point a complete set of DMC, all organized on bobbins in about 4 different floss boxes. Which is great. That was good to go. But with the advent of more specialty threads, overdyes, cottons, silks, bobbins just did not work for me. I didn't like how silk ended up when they were around bobbins and in the boxes, and I was not happy with the way the threads were organized, and just the amount of space it was taking up. So I decided to try out some tags. Now, originally, to this day, you can still buy floss tags already made. And in fact, my first foray, I actually bought the tags, and I still have some of them in my stashed DMC. But it very quickly became pretty obvious that I could totally make my own, which is what I did. So I spent a little time. I dabbled in card making several years ago, and I bought a ream of 80-pound cover paper. So this is, can you hear the, yeah. So it's a little thicker. It's nowhere near as thick as like a mat board or anything like that. It's commonly referred to as cover weight, but there are multiple pounds associated with cover weight. So this, what I use specifically, and I looked at the paper this morning on the ream. It's 80-pound cover paper. What I have here, it's got a tiny little bit of a pattern on it, and you won't be able to see. Yeah, there you go. See, it's got just a little bit of a pattern. That's just because that's what I happened to buy. I think I paid $25 or $20 for the ream of paper at a local paper supply place. But you can now buy a half ream on Amazon from Hammermill for like $11. I'm still working off of my original ream, and I maybe used 20 sheets of it in my original card making adventures, and so the rest of it has gone into tags. Now, I will admit that right now, in order for me to get floss tags made, I basically pull out however many number of sheets I want done, because you can get at least 20 out of one sheet of paper, and I hand them to my son and I say, make me circles. So I no longer am, at least as long as he's still in the house, I kind of have, I've outsourced the actual punching, but for a long time I did them all myself just to figure it out. So I wanted to go through and show you the tools that I use and how simple it is to create your own tags, and then how I put the floss on it. So again, 80-pound paper. This is 8.5 by 11. You can make these any shape you want, truly. I chose a circle. Now, originally I found a stamp or a cutter that was a tag shaped. It was kind of a square and it had a top. And that was fine, except for it was this kind of a punch, right? And this got really tiring after a while. So I switched over to this circle cutter. Now this is from Fiskars. It's a 2-inch circle. You can also get like a hexagon shape, which would work and give you double duty if you do English paper piecing in quilting. But I like the circle because obviously there's no way up or down. So, and this is a squeezy. It's a squeezy thing, which makes it, excuse me, real simple. So you just basically slide the cardstock in, get it so that you can't see. See, I can see all cardstock in there, and then squeeze, and out it pops. And then you move over a little bit, squeeze, out it pops. Move over a little bit, squeeze, out it pops. Okay, So that's it is. And you can see you can get a number out of one sheet, right? Okay. So circles. Got my individual 2-inch circles here. Right? Once you've got the circle, then you need a hole for the floss to go through, right? So then I found another punch. This is a Marby punch. Now, all of these punches I bought at either Hobby Lobby or Joann's using a coupon of 40% off. I don't remember. I know that they weren't very much. They were less than, the big one was less than $10. After the coupon, this guy was probably less than $5. But very easy to come by. Because and you'll find them in the scrapbooking or paper crafting section of your local craft store. You can also get them on Amazon. So, got my circle, got my punch, just drop it in as far down as it'll go, and kind of center it, and squeeze. Now I have a hole. Okay? We'll do it one more time. All the way down. You don't have to worry about positioning except for the horizontal, just to make sure it is in the center. And even if it's not, it's really no big deal because it's always going to be in the center some way. It's a circle. It's one of the benefits of using a circle, right? Okay, so you got your, so punch number 2 is complete. Now, you could stop here. You could absolutely stop here. Because you've got plenty of places to write. You've got a place to hang your floss, and you're good to go. But I punched one more circle, and for that I use just a normal, ordinary paper punch. And again, on the opposite side of the floss circle, I just put it in. Now this one you gotta kind of eyeball it, maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. It really doesn't matter as long as you're close to the end. Now, that's the result. Not exactly centered, but that's okay. There's another one. That's it. Done. So, you are now the proud owner of a floss tag. Floss tag. They don't have to be perfect. As you can see, this guy, he kind of lost. I got him a little too close when I was punching the big circle, and he's got a little bite taken out of his side. But, he'll work. You don't have to do circles. You could just cut up that piece of paper into however many 2-inch squares if you wanted to. That would work too. I like the circle because it doesn't catch on anything, including me. And they all line up nicely when I try to stack them. Because I keep a stack of these next to my stitching area so that either if I'm pulling out an old whip or if I've got floss for a new whip, I can go ahead and tag them up real quick, tag up the floss real quick, and I don't have to go searching or to make them. So I get him to make, whenever I use a stack, I get him to make them anymore. So I have a stack next to my stitching area. Okay, so once you've got these handy dandy floss takes, what do you do with them? Well, this is the floss from an old kit, an old whip of mine called Dragon Ride, which is Teresa Wentzler. Now, as I'm revisiting my older whips, I am tagging their floss. So this used to be all on bobbins. And you can see, here's a good one. You can see that floss is kind of kinky, right? And that's from it being bobbinated. Now, nothing wrong with bobbins. If you like bobbins, you keep using them. If you're happy with that system, then that's awesome. I will say that I find no difference in using floss that was bobbined or bobbinated versus floss that has only ever been tagged, right? No difference whatsoever in the finished product. This is just a whole personal preference thing. Complete personal preference. Just want to be clear. But the one thing I really like about using this is blends. Because Teresa, if you stitch Teresa Wentzler, you know that she is the queen of blends, of blended threads. So I've got all of my floss that's called for, but then I actually have additional tags specifically for blended threads. So this has got the symbol on it, and it's got the color number, and I basically just pull 2 strands, and here's my blended tag, ready to go. Now, I pre-cut my floss links to put on the tag. Again, personal preference. I know some folks don't like pre-cut links. I like pre-cut links. So how do I do it? Here I have a floss tag that's already been completed, and a skein of floss that needs to be tagged. This is actually from my Red Queen from Brooks Books. This is a floss color needed for her. So as far as marking your tag, you've got a couple options. You can either use the, you can use these guys. So these come in pretty much anywhere that DMC is sold. They're little stickers, okay, with the floss number on it. Or you can handwrite, which most of mine are. The vast majority of mine are just handwritten. But I have a stack of these things. I might as well try to use them if I can. So I put the tag on here. Here's my skein of floss. Now, when you're looking at a skein of floss, there are 2 distinct ends. There's the number end, right? And then there's the DMC tag end, okay? And in all cases, you want to pull the floss end that's coming out of the number end. So here's the number. There's the working thread you want to pull from is on this side. Always pull from the number. So what I do is very simple. I pull until I can get one complete loop, right? So there's no question where this guy is. And then I pull off the bands, and 99 times out of 100, I can find the other end. It's kind of lurking under that top band. So here he is right there. So I'll kind of pull him out a little bit. And then, this is just a big circle of floss. This is just a skein, right? So if you put your finger through the loop at the top, you can put it back into the circle. Okay? So it was like this. And I found the loop end and I separated it, right? And then I just put it over my wrist. Pull. Now, depending upon where you pull, you might need to, like this guy, of course, is not going to be. He needs to be coming from the inside. So, just kind of pull him out. You need to get him so that he's pulling straight. I tell you, most of the time, once you put this on your wrist, you're done. All you have to do is start pulling. Okay, there we go. So, I got my original end, got my new end, match up the ends, and I just pull. Because what I'm doing is I'm folding this entire length of floss in half. And you can just pull it straight off of your wrist. And I'm at the end. See? There. Half. So now I take my original ends, which I threw over my shoulder so they'd be easy to find, and I match those up with that loop. So I match those up where that loop, and then again, I pull them through my fingers. So I'm folding the entire length of floss again in half. So now I've got 4 lengths of the same. 4 pieces of the same length, see? Because it's been folded in half twice. And then I fold it in half one more time. So bring the loop ends together, down through the fingers, boom. So this is approximately a yard, which is what I prefer to as a working length. So then I pull them together, but I don't match them up. scissors, I cut through the loops. Cut through the loops on both ends. And now I have 8 strands of floss that are all exactly the same length. Okay. 8 strands. Fold them in half. Now, you could just fold them in half like one time and then put them on the tag, and then you could do the tease out the one thread at a time so you don't have to undo them. I only recently discovered that, so I still just fold it in half twice, like so. Now once I start working with a color, there we go, you're done. Once I start working with a color, I'll pull out one strand and then loop it to the side only over, and then I can do the needle and pull, blah, 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 blah. But that's it. Very quick. I find it much faster than I ever found bobbinating. Again, your mileage may vary on that. And I don't ever have an issue with tangling. I mean, you can see these guys have been sitting in a plastic bag for quite a while, and it's very, you know, they're not tangled. They're not. You can easily separate them. No big deal. Now, the last piece, the last important piece are these guys. These are called cable key rings. They are usually 6 inches. You can get them smaller, but I usually get the ones that are 6 inches in length. You can get them colored or plain silver. I buy them on eBay, to be perfectly honest. I used to buy them from a U.S. place. The first time I bought them was from a U.S. shop, and they had 6-inch and 12-inch. But they jacked up their prices and their shipping, and so now I can get 10 of these for what one of them would cost me. So, yeah. There are U.S. distributors and U.S. sellers if you don't want to buy from overseas, which is perfectly fine. They usually sell them in lots of 10 for like $1. They're very cheap. The nice thing about these is that you can use them as is, and it's just got the little clasp on the end that just a screw. You got a circle. Or if you have a lot of floss, like if it's a heaven and earth, or you want to do something where it's a larger, if you have like a bunch of specialty like the Rainbow Gallery or silks. Now don't get me wrong, I put silks and everything on these guys. I just write different what the name is, or on the back I'll even put the dye lot if it's a silk thread. But you can also put these together. So I can make one, I can put these two together, and instead of having one 6-inch circle, I now have a 12-inch circle. So that'll hold a lot more. And then I just pop these on, screw it closed, and I'm good to go. And the hole that you punched will go over so that they'll go freely around the circle. So now I will say, obviously, if you watch as much FlossTube as I do, you've seen the double-sided thread cases where folks are putting an entire collection of DMC in one of those big double-sided thread boxes. I still kit individual projects with DMC, so I might have, like this in each one of my projects. Of course, most of them are not going to have this many colors. But I'm trying to think about how I could do it so that I could use a single set of DMC in my floss tag. So stay tuned. I bought a box that's about the same size as that double thread organizer. That I could, do one ring of 100 200s, another ring of 300s, another ring of 400s, blah, 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 blah. And I could fit it easily in that box. So that's a thought. But I'd still be carrying floss back and forth to California for that project, or I'd have to keep a second. I'd have to be a little more constricted as to what I'm working on in California if I'm really keeping it. Just lots of things to think about that I haven't thought about yet all the way through. But anyway, so Floss tags. This is how to do it. I will put links in the description to paper. Like I said, there's a half a ream you can get on Amazon. I am in no way suggesting that's the only paper that you can get. Truly, any kind of 80-pound cover paper will work. I'll also give the links to these guys so that you can easily find them. But again, I would recommend the circle for this second punch. So this part, the circle is easy. But as far as the overall shape of your tag, hey, if you like circles, great. If you prefer squares, awesome. Hexagons, I think, would work really well as, and again, do double duty if you do paper piecing. So there's endless options in your local craft store as far as good size punches. You just want to make sure the punch that you get for the tag is large enough to accommodate not only this part, but also give you room to write so that you can write the floss information on there. So that's it for me. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I am going to get all this stuff put away so that I can go stitch a bit for today. Have a great day. Stitch all the things.